If you're running a nonprofit, you know the feeling all too well. That grant writing hamster wheel, it just never, ever stops spinning. It's a constant cycle of pressure and paperwork, and frankly, it leads to serious burnout. But what if I told you there's a way to get off that wheel for good? Yeah, let's really break this down, because this isn't just a vague feeling, is it? It's a cold, hard number. We're talking 18 hours a week. That's what recent data says nonprofit teams are wasting just sifting through grant databases that aren't even a good fit. I mean, just picture that for a second. That's nearly half of a work week. Poof, gone. And I bet that sounds painfully familiar, doesn't it? That sinking feeling, digging and digging, chasing down dead ends, all while knowing that your real work, the stuff that actually makes a difference, is just sitting there on the back burner. Exactly right. And that's where we get to the real cost of all this burnout. It's so much more than just the wasted time. It's about the bigger picture and why the way things have always been done, well, it just isn't sustainable anymore. You know, for so long, the go-to strategy has been what this guide perfectly calls the spray and pray method. You just throw everything at the wall, right? Apply for anything and everything, just hoping one of them sticks. But what's the actual result? You end up bending your own mission to fit some funder's random checklist, and your team, they just get worn down by rejection after rejection. And this next point from the guide, it really flips the whole problem on its head. Think about it. The true cost of that rejected grant isn't just the hours you sank into writing it, it's the opportunity you lost. That was time you could have spent connecting with a donor who actually gets your mission. That's the real gut punch. Okay, but you can actually do the math on this. This guide gives a super simple ROI formula. First, figure out your cost. That's just the hours your team puts in times their pay. Easy. Then you estimate the value, so the award amount times your actual chance of winning it. And here's the kicker. If that value number is smaller than your cost number, and for those long shot grants, it almost always is, you are literally paying to get rejected. You're playing a game you can't win. Okay, so this is it. This is the big pivot, the real aha moment. We're done talking about the problem. Now we're shifting to the solution. It's about moving away from all that manual grunt work and into a truly intelligent strategy. And when you put them side by side, the difference is just, wow. The old way, you know it, clunky old databases, keyword searches that never quite work, and that soul-crushing spray and pray cycle. The new way, though, it's all about strategic intelligence. We're talking about systems that get the context, that empower you to say no, and that point you directly to the grants that have the highest ROI. Right, and the engine behind this new way is a concept called full-lifecycle grant management. So picture this. Instead of juggling, 5 different apps, one for finding grants, one for tracking them, another for writing, imagine it's all in one place. A single, seamless system that handles everything from the first spark of discovery to that final proposal. Here's a perfect example of how that works. Old tools are, well, they're dumb. They just look for exact keywords. So if you type in at-risk teenagers, but the funder wrote disadvantaged youth, whoops, you miss it completely. But the new systems, they use something called natural language processing. It's smart. It understands what you mean, not just what you type. And the data is incredible. It cuts out those useless, irrelevant results by a staggering 64%. And once you have that kind of smart matching, it unlocks this new superpower. And honestly, it sounds a little crazy at first. It's the power of saying no. Yeah, and strategic refusal isn't about being negative or giving up. Not at all. It's about being disciplined. It's about having the data to look at a long shot grant and confidently say, nope, not for us. This frees you up to pour all that saved energy into the opportunities where you have a real shot. It's a total game changer. And this is what it all adds up to. This is the payoff. Look at the old way. 80% of your week is just grinding, manual research. Now, with these new systems, you can literally flip that chart on its head. Imagine, 80% of your time is now free for what really moves the needle. Thinking big picture, strategy, and actually talking to donors. All right, so this all sounds great, but how do you actually do it? The good news is this is a totally solvable problem. So let's get into the playbook. This is your actionable checklist for making this happen in your organization starting now. Okay, first things first, and this is super important. Not all AI is the same. You need what this guide calls grounded intelligence. This isn't like those public chatbots that can just make stuff up sometimes. This kind of AI is trained on verified data. We're talking thousands of actual successful grant proposals. So when it gives you a suggestion, it's based on what has already worked. And key point, it tells you where it got the information so you can actually trust it. And when you put this all together, the result is just massive. We're talking about getting back 200 plus hours a month, every single month. And that's not just time, right? That's the breathing room to actually innovate, to be with your community, to do the work you started this organization to do in the first place. So when you're looking at tools to help you do this, here's your quick buying checklist. Number 1, is it dead simple to use? Your team is already swamped. They're not going to adopt something with a huge learning curve. 2, does it have compliance checks baked right in? You don't want to get disqualified over a simple paperwork mistake. And 3, does it know your world? It needs to understand the big picture and the local landscape where you work. And really, it all comes down to this one last question. This is what we want you to really think about. With an extra 200 hours back in your pocket every single month, what could you really do? What big, bold, new things could you and your team achieve for your mission?